Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the latest edition of That Bad Review. I'm pretty excited about this episode. I have Christopher Warren with me. He is the co-proprietor of Crystal Creek Meadows in Kangaroo Valley and also the founder of My Green Butler. Christopher, welcome to the show.
Hi, good morning.
Now, sustainability and innovation in sustainability is, it's maybe a bit of a catchphrase at the moment. It's sort of got a bit of a buzz around it. But look, you are very heavy on the implementation through My Green Butler. Can you just sort of maybe explain a little bit on your background and what led to you developing My Green Butler?
Sure. Well, my background is that I was born in the UK, and I spent a lot of time working in Europe in marketing. I also spent a lot of time working in the Middle East, North Africa, where I saw people living in a very different climate and living a different lifestyle.
Yes.
In other words, how they adjusted to climate. And then I came to live in Australia, and we bought a small business which we redid, Crystal Creek Meadows, which is 4 self-contained cottages. I applied my marketing background to develop our business, and it was successful in terms of occupancy, and we grew it up to be a good business. And then I progressed on from there.
Great. And look, did you see has sustainability been something that you've sort of carried through into the business, or is it something that you identified after you purchased the business?
Oh, it's definitely something I identified afterwards.
Yes.
I was not aware of the environmental impacts of my business and the consequences and what I should do about it. It's something that I learned.
Yes.
My concern is that in tourism, we don't have enough knowledge about the businesses we run, but we also need to recognize that our customers now have a far superior level of knowledge of climate change, pollution, and the consequences than they did 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And we are not keeping up with their attitudes.
Yes.
And the need for change. And if we worked with them, then we could make a substantial difference, and we could help move that glass ceiling a bit higher up so we would progress a bit further. Can we ask paying guests to use less and make them happier in doing so? What I've did with my PhD is test that over a year and a half and found it, yes, we can.
Right.
In fact, using less makes people happier because they learn how to use less, and that makes them more satisfied as a process.
Yes.
It was very easy for us as humans to understand how much we're consuming from what we could see.
Mm.
Now it's all invisible.
Yeah.
So in the cities where most people live, the provision of energy, electricity, gas, and supply of water is done through a whole huge invisible system to all of us. It's all discreetly put underground. We have no idea it's there. And we just turn the tap on or turn the switch on, and we don't understand the scale of what that consumption is. What people are now having is information to tell you what the average neighbor is using. But obviously that's over a month. How do I adjust my consumption based on my neighbor using 20% less than me? I don't know what they're doing that's different than mine. I don't really know what I'm supposed to do to change. Yeah. So we don't have knowledge. We have information on our bill, but we have no knowledge about how to live more sustainably. The big difference of being on holiday than you're living your everyday life are some key factors. I've never left the UK before. I arrive in a Greek island in summer. I've got no idea about the climate, really. Mm-hmm. I'm in a building that I've never stayed in before. I don't know whether it's facing the sun or it's not facing the sun because I arrived at night. I don't really know how to use the AC or other systems within the room to keep more comfortable. So I'm lost. Yes. And some people might have big lunches and lots of wine and then walk around in terrible heat. Where most people in that part of Europe have a siesta. Yeah. So they choose to do activities that aren't necessarily at the right time of day. So they don't necessarily have the best experience. which means they don't have this higher level of satisfaction. You've got to acclimatise and adjust to the tourist venue that you're going to, and that's what My Green Butler is about in terms of being a butler and advising people. So it does use technology, but the whole thing is it's more humanised to assist that acclimatisation. And what you're really doing is you're offering a hand of hospitality. You're, as a host, recognising that people need to better acclimatise, and you need to better guide them on how to do it. And that's really, so it's a training program and a technology platform which easily helps the accommodation provider advise guests through the information, mobile activities, etc., the digital displays, in-room information. We need to be conserving resources, which means you deliberately choose to have a shorter shower. You choose to turn off unnecessary lights. You choose to prefer natural ventilation, etc., etc. So from my research with My Green Butler, we have saved over 30% of electricity, over 20% in water, 38% in firewood. Now, that's been achieved nothing to do with me changing. It is my guests using less, choosing to use less, and yet my TripAdvisor rating, my Google review rating has gone up. And the important thing here to recognize is that also I've increased my prices. So I'm asking my guests to pay more and to use less, and they are happy and they have written more positive reviews.